Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
I'm never going to stop doing that.
I know. I expect it now. If you ever stop, I'll be thrown off. So this time around on Anime Podcast, we watched Non Non Biyori episodes 1, 6, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yep.
We sure
Wait,
did.
how do we normally do this?
How do we normally do this?
I
We've
just forgot the
forgotten,
order.
Spooky.
How did you forget? It hasn't even been a long time since we recorded.
It's been like
a single week. I just forgot. Do we do a summary first and then you guys guess how I like the show, or
No.
you guys guess first? Okay.
Oh my
So-
god.
Guess what you think.
Guys, it's late. I apologize. Anyway,
Okay.
So what do you guys think I think of the show?
You first, Scam. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think Spooky gives it a 4. Don't ask me to clarify. I can't.
I'm gonna say that Spooky likes the art, and some of the characters are pretty cool, but like, it's just... I like slice of life. This is fucking nothing. This is literally just nothing. So, like, I'm gonna go with, like, a 3. I'm gonna go lower. I don't want to bust, but it's The Price is Right. Closest to the number without going over. What is it?
Oh, it's Price is Right rules. Oh, I didn't know we were doing Price is Right rules.
Does your answer change if we're doing Price is Right rules?
No.
Yeah, no, I give this a 7. I actually really like that. I mean, really like in the sense of 7 to me is like, it's good enough to watch. I don't love it. Non Non Biyori is 100% a show for me where I make a hot cup of cocoa and I snuggle up on the couch and I watch it and I'm like, I'm comfy, and then I take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You know what the show feels like to me?
Like
you know how when you buy a photo frame, it comes with a stock photo inside of like a family?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it feels like.
That.
Okay,
I
will say, if Renge wasn't in the show, the smallest one, I wouldn't like it nearly as much, because she does hold the show together a lot for me, where it's like a lot of my enjoyment comes from
Which
like
one's that?
the
purple-haired
child, the recorder
the
girl.
baby.
Cool.
Where a lot of my enjoyment of the show comes from just watching her be a kid, and I'm just like, I'm happy, and like her relationship with other people. If she wasn't there, the score would go down significantly. But I'm just like, I don't know, I just watch her and I'm like, haha, she's adorable. And then I'm like, her relationship with the others is cute. And I'm like, okay, now I'm comfy and happy. It's definitely not like it's not a show I could sit and binge watch. It's like a show that I watched like over time and was just kind of like before I went to lay down type deal. Like I would just like drink my cocoa and go to sleep, and it was comfy and
I'm
nice.
gonna be real with you, Spooky.
Uh-huh.
You watch everything over time.
That's not totally true. Well, wait. You know what I mean! Stop taking things literally! Podcast
Oh my
fucking
god.
over. This is the last episode. I'm leaving. Goodbye. But
Alright. I'm taking
yeah.
over podcast now. We only watch shonen in this podcast.
Never mind, I'm back. But no, yeah, it's just like a comfy, like, I watched it at a slow pace. I watched it before relaxing. It's definitely a show where I think you have to watch it episode by episode to have any connection to the characters, because the only thing in the show is the connection to the characters, which you guys obviously
Yeah.
And it's like just
say.
kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of like I'm chill, like I know these characters, I'm familiar with them, I like them, I like the cute one, and I just want to like sit and be comfortable and not have to worry about a goddamn thing in the world, and that's what this does for me. So that's why.
I mean, I get it now that you've explained it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But if
It's
you
like
did not have that situation at all,
yeah.
this is literally the
You know what
equivalent
else you
of
can
wet
turn on?
cardboard. What?
Yeah, no, you know what this is
You can turn on stock footage of rolling hills and
Yeah.
meadows.
No, I was literally just about to say, this is like the equivalent of putting, like, the fucking Yule log on TV during Christmas.
It is.
It's like that. Like, I'm just
It
comfy, drinking hot cocoa, being warm. I always watch this, like, shows like this in the winter because it's like, I just want to be in my warm house and watching a comfy show. So
what it is we're all in a house. Spooky's on the couch, literally watching the Yule log, like actually watching it, being like, "Oh, it's so warm and toasty," and me and Cam are like, "Spooky,
drunk on the eggnog.
we could light a fire right over here. We could light a fire."
Me and Dear,
and Spooky's like, "No."
Yeah, like it's
me and Dear are like, you could light a fire, and Spooky's like, "No, I'm warm with my cocoa," and then Dear and I are in the background taking shots of eggnog and whiskey.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's a comfy show for me. I like comfy slice of life because this is like probably I want to say the quote unquote like truest slice of life that I've shown you guys so far. And a lot of people are gonna be like, "What the fuck? You showed them K-On!" And K-On's like the staple slice of life. But K-On's the staple cute girls doing cute things, and it has a lot of comedy mixed in.
Yeah.
Whereas this is less comedy, more just like, these are people living in the country.
Oh,
you know?
Well, I would
wouldn't
disagree
say,
in certain aspects.
I wouldn't say
there are certain scenes that are meant to be comedy scenes, and I didn't realize until after the fact, and I was like, "Oh, that was meant to be a comedy."
Yeah, I mean, there are comedy scenes, but it's not like that's not the majority of it. That's not the bulk of it.
It's not the point of the show.
Yeah, it's not the point of the show.
Do you want me to get into?
Yeah, and the comedy isn't really meant to be like, "Oh, haha, this is fucking hilarious." It's more meant to just be like a little like, heh. And you know what I mean?
It's
like,
old
not,
people.
Yeah.
It's bland comedy. Inoffensive.
You know,
it's nothing
I'm
new.
just gonna
It's
agree
the
with you,
same
Gam.
comedy you've
It
had
literally
before.
is the stock photo that comes with the frame.
Mm-hmm. It's the stock photo that comes with the frame. It's putting it's putting the Yule log in front of a group of old people.
And I'm the old person. Yeah, I just like to be comfy.
Spooky's the old person.
I need to show you guys a slice of life that I don't like sometime. That'll be really fun.
I was gonna say,
I've liked everyone I've shown you guys so far.
Spooky, I legitimately thought that's what this was.
Nope. I actually do enjoy none. Like I said, though, if Renge wasn't there, I would enjoy it significantly less. I am very much a fan of, like, here being, like, when a show is like, here is a child being a child, that's so charming to me that it's like, I'm happy now. Like, I don't... Yotsuba's one of my favorite manga of all time. It's also, I mean, it is hilarious,
you know what?
but Yotsuba's just a kid.
You know what? Spooky can get drunk. Me and Gam will both get, like, just blitzed out of our mind, and we'll watch a slice of life you don't like. Just let us know in advance.
It's funny you say Yotsuba.
Hold my attention. Yeah?
It's funny you say Yotsuba, because I told Matt, I was like, "Oh yeah, we're watching this today," and he was like, "What? I don't know what that is." And then I showed him the Nyan Pasu clip, and he was like, "Oh, so it's like Yotsuba, but worse." And I'm like, "Yeah, basically." That's like, kill me.
Yeah, I mean, Yotsuba's definitely more comedy driven than this. Like, Yotsuba actually makes me, like, laugh out loud constantly, like it's hilarious. But at the core, it's like, here's a kid being a kid, and I'm like, yeah, I like it when this is a thing. It makes me happy.
Do we want to get into describing the plot, by the way?
Yeah, let's do that.
Fuck it. There's no plot. There's no plot.
So, episode 1, we open to an establishing shot of a countryside. And then we pan over to an establishing shot of a countryside.
The whole time...
And then we cut to an establishing shot of a countryside.
But the whole time the song's playing and you can hear a recorder off
And then we cut to an establishing shot of a countryside.
No, that happens
And then
during.
we cut to an establishing shot of the countryside. And then we cut to a girl with purple hair playing a recorder whilst walking to school, presumably. Someone's coming up behind her. She turns around and she sees a cow and points at it and then goes, Nyan Pasu. And I go, oh, wait, I know where I've seen this from now. And then they're like, hey, we live in the country, don't we? And then an intro starts and it's like, whoa, and Spooky's like, yay, and we're like, oh god. We cut back and the girl is playing a recorder and another girl arrives who has orange hair. Whoa. And then they talk about eating food and what food they'll have today. And then they squat over some fields and look in the rice fields. And then they get run over by a camper van. Just kidding, it was a bus. They get in the bus, and it's a school bus. Whoa, they're gonna go to school. And while they're sitting on the bus, the purple-haired child is like, "Hey, did you see the news today? A guy doing calisthenics
Outside the window.
outside a window behind a radio or something." Anyway, cut to school. Oh my god, it's a classroom. There's like 3 people in the classroom. 4 people, 5 people in the classroom. I don't know how to count. And we find out, oh, okay, these are all the kids in the school, and they all have different years, so they're all different ages. And it's like, okay, so it's a very small country village sort of deal. And it's like, wow, there's a massive age gap between them all. And then the new girl walks in. Oh my god, it's a new girl. Cool. Anyway, it's break time, so they're gonna play some dodgeball. Anyway, they finish playing dodgeball, and then they're like, hey, watch out for all the buckets. They're there to catch the leaks. And they're like, oh, it's a good thing you have them there, because else, like, you'd get annoyed by the dripping on the floor. They're like, yeah, well, don't move the buckets, not because of that, but because the floor's right around it and you'll fall in. Just kidding. No one would do that. And then it pans over to the only boy in this anime stuck in the hole. And they walk away, leaving him to die.
Let's be real. The only character that matters and never says a word.
Boy. Yes.
Boy.
Yeah.
So we cut to them playing dodgeball, and they're bad at playing dodgeball because I think they're playing volleyball, not dodgeball.
They're like kind of playing monkey in the middle, except for sometimes they're not. The dodgeball's a bit I don't quite know what they were doing.
It's a real rice cake jelly donut situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, we cut back and they're like, "Oh, I've got my key. I've gotta lock my house." And they're like, "What? You lock your house? Do you lock your house? Do you lock your house? Do you lock your house? Who locks the house, you fucking weirdo?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. We're in the country. You don't really need to lock your door." And they're like, "What? We don't live in the country." And they're like, "What?" Anyway, it's the end of the school day, and the new kid is walking, and the little purple-haired girl is like, "Hey, want to come back to my house?" She's like, "What? Okay." And then they're walking along, and she's like, "What's in the town?" And they're like, "Shops and stuff." And then they walk past a cow crossing sign that was really cute. It was like moo moo. It's moo moo.
But not in the country.
And then they get back to not in the country. They get back to the purple-haired kid's house, and they're sitting under the tonkatsu, just chilling.
Wait, the tonkatsu?
Anyway.
Wait.
Yeah, they're sitting in it.
What?
They're sitting in the tonkatsu.
Now they're trying to whistle, and the little girl doesn't. I don't know what I've written. Okay,
it's okay.
I'm just reading.
It's okay.
I'm not thinking about what I've written. I'm literally just reading.
They were sitting in a pork cutlet. I get it.
I wish I could sit in a pork cutlet.
They're trying to whistle outside, but they can't because the little girl can't whistle. And then Tanuki Tanuki appears, and I'm like, man, I miss Isaacin. And it's just there, and then suddenly she can whistle, and they're like, oh my god, what will the Tanuki do? Does nothing. And then it cuts to the next day, and they're like, do we really live in the country? And then the little girl is like, did you know that 50 kilometers per hour doesn't actually mean 50 kilometers in 1 hour because of, like, traffic lights and shit? And they're like, well, I mean, I guess, because, like, if you live in the city, it's like that, but if you live in the country, I guess it would mean it, but also 50 kilometers per hour doesn't really mean 50 kilometers in 1 hour. It means, like, the rate that you're going, but also real life doesn't correlate to statistical data like that in that sort of way. And then they're just like, oh yeah, one time a monkey randomly showed up in Tokyo, don't you know? And just for some fucking reason. And then they're like, we don't live in the countryside, because things in the countryside are like, everything's inconvenient and hard. Like, but things aren't inconvenient here. Remember this is going to be important later on. We cut to lunchtime, and they're eating lunch, and they're like, wow, this is delicious. And the little girl's like, hey, new kid, save your mochi, you fucking bitch. And then after school, they go for a walk. And oh my god, they got to a sakura tree, and wow, it's so beautiful. There's petals everywhere, and spending a long time looking at this tree because they spent a lot of time drawing it, and we have to save money on animation by just showing you the background slowly. And they're like, wow, this is really nice sitting here at the top of this hill underneath the cherry blossom tree, just eating our mochi, watching the countryside. I mean, not countryside, we don't live in the country. And then they cut back to where they're trying to get home, and oh my god, they missed the bus. And I'm like, but they live in the countryside. Why would the bus driver just drive away without them when, like, they're literally just about to get to the bus stop? Like, he would just wait. Like, even in the city, bus drivers will stop for you still, unless they're just a cunt. And it's like, okay, I guess that, I guess that one guy is just a cunt then. And it's like, man, the buses are so inconvenient here. And then the little kid's like, wait a minute. Oh god, we live in the country, don't we? And then the episode ends.
Yeah.
I love her engaged. She's so cute. Anyway.
Gam, you seem to be having a great time. Anyway, so episode 6, it's now... Remember me?
Anyway.
I can't, I'm dead.
Well, that's the end of the podcast. Gang and Deer are dead. See you next time, where I just ramble about shit for a couple hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just imagining just releasing a podcast episode where it's like, hey, they died. I'm gonna talk about After the Rain for the next 2 hours.
I could! Like, manga
So here's my TED Talk.
Yeah, I'm like, manga exclusive fucking podcast. We're gonna talk about why Kondo is the best still.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, an aside, it was Kondo's birthday
I can
today.
prove it
Anyway.
mathematically.
Anyway.
Yes, we recorded this back in January.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I should
Even though
specify.
this isn't coming out until, like, April.
Hi, people in the future.
It's fine.
It was January 5th, and it was Kondo's birthday. Go
It's
back in
fine.
time and wish him a happy birthday. Anyway.
It's summer vacation, but Redhead has terrible grades and was hiding it from her mom, and she's in trouble, and Brunette, her sister, wants to watch TV in the room that she's being yelled at, so she's like, what the fuck, hurry up and finish. So they do hand signs to each other to talk about hiding her tests so that the mom doesn't see him, and the mom is just like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm literally punishing you, and you're, like, making bunny ears. And then the brunette and the brother have been listening, and then when they get found out by the mom, the brother just fucking books it, leaving the brunette behind to take a verbal fucking beating. Then more scant landscape shots while Redhead listens to the outside cicadas, but then when she's like, I'm gonna run away, and she gets caught, and she's like, what the fuck? And then mom's like, okay, go fucking study. I'm gonna go air out the futons. And she's like, okay. Yeah, you thought I was gonna study. That's for nerds. And then the brother and brunette come back into the room and chat a bit. And they're like, where'd you hide the tests? And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I hid them well. And she's like, oh, where's mom? Oh, she's airing out the futons. And they're like, oh, that's where I hid your tests. I'm so sorry. And then there's a cut to mom literally rushing back in to murder her children. Then we see Redhead is basically a piece of shit who doesn't think about anything she does. Purple then walks up and she's like, do you want to play? And then shot of a room full of hundreds of dolls that aren't good enough for black-haired girl, but the one she's holding is the best one yet, so that's good. Good thing my friends will never see this room full of, oh god, my friends are here. And let's pretend the room is a mess to try and distract them so I can go clean it up and say that there's landmines in my room. Then moments later, the room is good. Please come inside. Don't look in that exact place I hid them. Also, let's look at a photo album of black-haired girls' baby pictures. Actually, these were only taken a year ago, so what? That's weird. Also, she is a PS3. Xbox One 3 Switcho. And then that makes Redhead happy, who plays it. And then Purple really wants toys and goes to look directly in that one place she shouldn't look and is stopped. And is instead asked to play tag with Purple Hair's super easy inside rules, but it doesn't really make sense at all because she's a fucking child. And you're supposed to act like a demon. And then while acting like a demon and embarrassing herself, she accidentally lets all the dolls fall out of the dresser thing. And Purple, of course, thinks that this is her study project for summer. So everyone's like, oh, teach us how to make plush toys for our projects. And then they all made toys, some much better than others. So I guess their homework is done. And then Redhead's like, hee, I still have homework. So now they play house. And apparently Purple Hair Girl is a flying fish. I don't really, whatever. Then they all study at home as siblings. Actually, no, let's go do a test of courage because studying is boring. Also, I guess Mom is here, maybe?
Oh god, the test
and
of courage.
Then the brunette sister is like, I'm not doing this, but then she gets to be the person to scare everyone, so she's like, cool, I'm gonna vent. And then at this point, I wrote that Gam is literally dying. And then she was given... she was given a blanket, but it wasn't even... like, the holes weren't cut out. They were just drawn on. And then there's, like, footsteps behind her, and she gets scared. And we see that it's her brother. But, of course, the moment she turns around, he's already past her. And she keeps, like, missing seeing him. And she even freaks out that there's, like, a coin here now. And she thinks it's a ghost. And there's also a black cat that scares her to fall into a box and become a KKK member. And then now it's Redhead's turn to walk up the stairs. But she finds her sister just ringing the bell and freaking out, talking about ghosts. And then they light some sparklers. And then there's like 5 minutes of like a real video of sparklers. And then that's literally how it ends.
Yep.
Yep.
Great, isn't it?
Yep.
I was having
Yes, you do.
Okay. It's cold. Nearly New Year's. The new girl made more dolls this time, and she made one with a New Year's version now. A little outfit. It's real cute. Hey, just laying down there trying to stay awake. They're like, hey, eat your New Year's soba. Eat it, bitch! And they're like, can't sleep. Got a New Year's. And then the little child falls asleep. It's like, fuck! And then, cut to... I went to go get my potatoes out of the oven, but it's okay, because they're on a driveway now, and it seems like they're driving somewhere. I guess I missed nothing. Turns out they're going to, they're going on a bit of a climb at 4 a.m. They're gonna go watch the sunrise. Fuck that. Like, honestly, that sort of shit is like, if you're on holiday and do that, that's one thing, but like doing it just like in your own hometown, it doesn't feel refreshing. It feels awful. Trust me. As they're walking along, climbing, the small purple-haired child starts singing a song that makes me want to commit death. And we get the blonde girl being like, hey, Peter, remember that time when the small purple hair girl was born or smaller or some shit? And then we cut to a flashback where the dark-haired girl is like, hey, Blondie, can you look after my purple-haired sibling? My parents are gone and I want to go to a rave. And Blondie's like, okay, give me money. And the sister's like, okay, we'll pay you. And she shows up and it's like, oh my god, looking after kids is hard. Am I right, my fellow parents? And then we get the scenes, just the babysitting scenes of, okay, the baby does like this.
Baby
okay, here,
like
baby,
this.
have the thing that you like. Oh, baby doesn't want the thing that they like. Ah, but I'm shoving it in their face. Baby does not like this. Oh no, baby already has this, sort of thing. And then we cut to the small baby crawling towards a cat, and oh my god, the cat does not want to be held, so instead of doing what a cat normally does, which would be hiss and bite and run or slash, the cat just puts its paw on the baby's face, pushes slightly, and then runs away.
I believe they called it a cat punch.
Cat punch, yeah. And the baby's just laying on its back, and Blondie's like, don't do it. And she spits out the pacifier and cries, and it's like, oh my god. Oh no. We cut to, oh, now you're drinking milk. It took forever to get that to the body temperature for you. We better appreciate it. And then we cut to later. The sister is home. She's like, hello. Oh my god, she isn't here. Oh my god, she stole my child. Where is my sister? Oh my god. And then opens the door and, oh, they were just asleep together on the bed because they were exhausted. Oh, that's adorable. We cut back to a few days or weeks or an amount of time later, and Blondie comes back and is like, hey, have this snack for the small child. And they're like, oh, why are you giving this? And she's like, oh, it was left over. And they're like, oh, so it's expired? She's like, no, it's just, I'm Tsundere. And she was like, oh, I get it now. Okay, cool. She just wants to spend time with the small purple-haired child because, you know, they have a connection. Anyway, we cut back to the present, and they're all fucking exhausted from walking. But they continue on, and they make it to the top, the summit, just in time for the sunrise, and oh my god, it's beautiful. You should have seen it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like watching the sun, and it goes...
You should have
like,
seen
oh
the sunrise.
God.
It's like watching the sun.
Yep, it is. It is. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me watching a sunrise
No,
isn't like
you're
watching the
not
sun.
wrong.
Exactly. Thank you. And then my notes just say, they make it to the top to watch the sunrise. There it is. The sunrise is there. Happy New Year, bitch. What happens after that is just a series of standing there, looking at the New Year, and then like, what are we going to do now? And they're like, let's go back down and eat food. And they're like, I'm going to eat as many mochis as I am years old. And she's like, how old are you now? And she's like, 7. I'm like, that's a lot of mochi. And they're like, but I'm going to eat it. And they're like, I don't know.
Maybe don't eat it.
And she's like, I'm eating that many. You can't stop me. And then it's the end. And Spooky was like crying because it was so emotional.
That's not true.
And Deer and I were crying because we so desperately wanted to have a bullet in our heads.
God.
I
don't know.
That was episode 10.
I'm
joking. I didn't hate this.
Yeah.
I wasn't insulted by it.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
It wasn't the fucking it wasn't what was the
Which one?
reincarnation one?
Oh, Jobless
Oh.
Reincarnation.
Jobless reincarnation. Yeah, it wasn't that.
I will continue to shit on that show forever, despite everyone liking it anyway.
I remember you telling me spoilers of what happens in the next season, and I'm like,
oh, it
people
was
say
like,
it goes
that's like
better?
late game fucking shit. Like, I knew, those are like late spoilers. I told you the spoilers that I like, which we won't talk about on stream.
Anyway.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this. There's a lot of scenes where Renge just being a kid just reminds me of like being home, like playing with my niece, and that's also very comforting.
I will
to me.
say she is actually like a child in some scenes. She isn't like an anime child. Which
like
anime children can be very obnoxious.
Like her in the scene where she's like, I want to play house, and she's like, you two are the mommy and the daddy, and they're like, okay, are you the child? And she's like, no, I'm gonna be a fish. I'm like, that's like so something a fucking 6-year-old would do. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I was hanging out
Absolutely.
with my 5-year-old niece recently, and she was like, we're gonna play butterflies. And I was like, okay. So we were like flapping our arms, and then she was like making noises, and I was like, do butterflies make noises? And she was like, we're puppy butterflies. And I was like, okay. Like,
oh, okay.
Like, shit
yeah,
like
it's
that.
like that sort of shit just makes sense.
Yeah. And her being like, the fascination with like the weird shit also is just like, yeah. Yeah. It's nice. I don't know. I do want to say, I think the weakest part of this show so easily is the quote-unquote main girl, which it does a pretty good job at just balancing all of the characters. But the girl who moved from Tokyo, like the black-haired girl, she is like, I'm like, she doesn't even need to be there for me. I think she's like the weakest fucking one. I don't know. Like her whole thing is like, huh?
I was gonna say, I thought that the purple-haired girl was meant to be the main character.
Like, I think, because like I said, it does a good job at kind of balancing all of them, but it's just like, I I guess in the sense of, like, she's, like, the one that, like, moved here. Like, the black-haired girl's, like, the one who moved here from, like,
She's
Tokyo.
the POV character,
and, like,
yeah.
And she's just not anything, like, she's, like, the bland one to me, where it's just kind of, like, her whole thing is she moved from Tokyo, and then it's like, okay, what now?
And she's a creep.
Yeah, she's mature for her age, is her other thing. And it's like, okay, what now? It's like other characters do the same thing, but do it more interesting. So then it's like, she's in love with the senpai and is weird about it. And it's like, okay, what now? You know? And it's just kind of like, I feel like she did not need to be there. Like, you didn't get to see a lot of her, but the middle sister in Renge's family, the one that has, like, the bob cut and, like, the side tail, she's, like, I feel like she would have been better in the role of the black-haired girl. Like, because she's just, like, kind of similar in a way, but better? I don't know. There's a lot of issues I have with her. Like, I like the secondary cast of this a lot. But yeah, I don't even remember. I think her name's Hotaru. I don't even actually remember her name, and I remember everyone else's name. Like, she's just kind of, like, there. And I'm like, I wish that she just kind of wasn't. Like, I wish we didn't spend screen time on her. Because I like everyone else. But I get that you don't really, but you kind of need the POV of, like, the character who's not used to this life, even though I think you could do it differently or just give those same traits to one of the more interesting characters and it would be the same. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yes, no.
Because you can just say anyone moved from the country or moved from the city to the country and then just have them be like, oh, you do this stuff here? And it's like, you can do that more interesting than what she was. She was just kind of bland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I like the other characters a lot. The two sisters get the red-haired sister and, like, the lighter brown-haired sister. They get some good episodes. I feel like you didn't get to see them. I mean, you didn't really get to see too many of them fleshed out in general, except for, like, kind of Renge, but I feel like they have moments that, like, make them much more, like, especially the light brown-haired sister, like, her episodes are, like, more her and like, the dark-haired girl focused, so I didn't really show them, because I don't like dark-haired girl that much, but, I think the light brunette one, gets, like, some good characterization, in general, like, she's, like, relatable, she's, like, the one that's, like, she's the oldest of the friend group aside from the boy, the brother. She's, like, the oldest of the friend group, so therefore she feels like she needs to be kind of the mature one despite not being that, and it's like, that, okay, like, that's good. And just how she's played out is, like, good, in general, like, it's just, I don't know, comfy. Like I said, and this isn't like a show where it's like, oh, this is the best character writing ever. Like, it's just, here's these characters having a good time with each other.
Yeah. It's just like, I just think it's neat.
Yeah, so much of it is just like, here is a way, like, because so much of the show is just, let me put myself in this position of living, like, a comfy countryside Japanese life, and, like, how different it is from my life, and let me just be comfy. All these characters, like, enjoy their life, and that's what where I think the charm really comes from.
Okay, I'd like to tell a completely different story.
Yeah?
So, the other day I went shopping, and I bought some bacon, because I was like, I'm gonna make a breakfasty thing, and we went and put the groceries up, and I was like, I guess Max put up the bacon. That's weird. So, it's been a little while since then, and I was like, oh man, I kind of want to make that bacon. Where'd it go? That's weird. We can't find the bacon. And then Max, just 2 seconds ago, found the bacon 3 days later in our grocery bag, and it literally has become liquid. It's not rotten, but it is, because it is so room temperature, it is, like, solid and liquid at the same time, and it's terrible to hold. And I just wanted to share that with everybody.
That's awful.
Yes.
Don't eat it.
I did not. I threw it away.
Deer's like, I threw it away. You could like hear chewing.
There's like bacon crisping in the background.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why? Yeah.
Hmm?
That's bacon for you.
Yep.
But
So anyway, anime.
what do you think of this, dear?
You first.
I asked you first.
No, I don't want to break Spooky's heart.
You're not gonna break my heart. I don't like this
Okay,
show that
I
much.
will. 2.
Two.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. I just don't want to watch it ever again.
Yeah.
No, yeah, same. Two. I didn't. There's a lot of really pretty backgrounds. There's a lot of really cute things, but like, I don't ever want to see this again.
Yeah. No, I mean that's fair. If you don't like this kind of stuff, you don't like this kind of stuff. Like I said, I gave it I feel like our rating system is so different because to me, like I said, a 7 isn't exactly like a great score. It's just like to me, it's like I enjoyed watching
we get it,
that. I
IGN.
think it's good. Yeah. I don't know. It's just easier for me to score it that way, where it's like 5 is a complete average, where it's like not worth it, and then 6 is like it wasn't completely not worth it, but I wouldn't recommend it or I wouldn't watch it really. You know, I'd probably drop it, and then 7's like that was worth it. So that's all it was for me. It's like it was just say that was worth it.
Fair.
So
Fair. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, if someone puts it on, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, shut that off. But I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, put me on some of that Non Non Biyori. Oh fuck
Right,
yeah,
right.
sound. Give me some of that sweet non pasu.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
There are some great gifts though. I will say that. I should find some.
I
But-
know there are.
Yeah, there are some moments.
That's
where
where
it's
I've
just
seen
like, this is silly as shit, but but yeah,
Oh yeah, that's our pain done.
yeah. There we go. Next week we'll watch
You.
Yeah.
We're watching you next week.
We're
Get
Hope
your
you're
windows ready.
I was trying
Would
to
like
think of
them to be
something
No,
really
don't.
dumb, but I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
There's nothing dumb, just next week we're watching Futurama.
Woo!
Yeah, Futurama, there we go. What are some of the other things we always say we're gonna fucking watch?
Fairy
That aren't
tale.
anime.
Jojo.
Oh, that art
No!
anime?
Oh my god, that can be a hell that I go through. We can fucking watch JoJo.
Oh god.
That
Can we not?
join the hands of
You know
fucking
what-
everyone
you know
loves
what we would
JoJo,
have to
everyone
do?
likes... Yeah.
We would have to get Max on the podcast because he's watched every single episode of JoJo and he's consistently tried to get me to watch JoJo. So we could bring him on
yeah,
and get him to
JoJo
show
lie.
us all JoJo.
JoJo, no. Gam, no. Fucking JoJo. Everyone loves JoJo, everyone loves Jobless Reincarnation, and I'm going to, for the rest of my life, shit on both of them. Let's go. To be fair, I'm sure I would like JoJo more than Jobless Reincarnation. But at least, I don't know. JoJo has some funny memes, I guess. A couple.
We'll get
I'm
to
not a
that.
fan.
We'll
Yeah,
get
maybe,
to that.
maybe one day we'll do a JoJo. Maybe.
We'll get to that.
Anyway,
No.
next week, we're all gonna die. See ya.
Synecdoche, New York.
Can we get one more
Goodbye.
soundboard punching noises before we go?
Okay, give me a number between 1 and 5.
5.
Okay, give me a number between 1 and 9.
7. Thank you.
And that's our theme song, everybody.
Yep, now Gam and Deer are dead. See you next week when I talk about Kondo for 2 hours. Bye.
Bells